Hello, today we're going to look at probability. As you're aware, this is part of the Leaving Cert Mathematics curriculum, and the approach we will take for this topic will be on the flipped classroom. Before we start class, you will be expected to watch these videos in your own time, and in class then we will do more collaborative and active learning methods. So what is probability? Well, it's the study of chance or likelihood, alright? So if you put it in an Irish context, okay, what are you more likely to do, okay? Win the lotto or for it to rain in Ireland in any given year, okay? So as you know, it's definitely more likely to rain in Ireland than you winning the lotto. So just in terms of orientation, that's what we will cover in this video. The first thing will be probability concepts. Second thing will be likelihood scale. And the last thing then is the probability scale. So just some probability concepts that you have to become familiar with. The first one is a trial. A trial is the act of doing an experiment. An outcome is one of the possible results of the trial. So for example, if I'm flipping a coin, I could have head or tails. If it's a die, it could be any result from 1 to 6. This set or list of all the possible outcomes in a trial is called a sample space. So the sample space for a coin is head or tails. A die would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the sample space. An event is the occurrence of one or more specified outcome. So for example, an event could be, well, I flicked a coin and I got a head. That has occurred. Okay, so a trial is the act of doing. It's doing now, whereas an event has occurred. It's in the past tense. We'll now look at a spinner to illustrate all these concepts. Just to look at those probability concepts we just discussed, we're now going to use this to illustrate what exactly they mean. The first thing is the sample space. In this case here, I have the numbers from 1 to 10. That's my sample space. That's all the possible values that can occur. The event, well, the event in this case is I'm going to spin the wheel. And the outcome then, so if I hit spin, outcome was 8. Now, just to note, the probability of me hitting an 8 again is the same as any other value. Two. Okay, so again, if I spin again, 5. So it's pretty varied. But technically speaking, if I was to hit a 9 the first time, then the probability of hitting a 9 again will be the same as any other value. And we'll look at that later on. Okay, so now we will look at a likelihood scale. On this scale, you have 5 different categories, ranging from impossible to certain. So I've created a small exercise here. And here you have all different outcomes here at the bottom. You have to determine where each outcome should go on the scale. So what I'll ask you to do now is pause the video and try and determine the correct solution to all of these outcomes. Okay, so I'm assuming now you have unpaused. Okay, so we'll go through the solution now. So the first one is to rain in Limerick. All right, now sometimes actually the best thing to approach this is maybe get the 50-50 first, right? So to rain in Limerick is certainly not 50-50. To Limerick to win the All-Ireland, they're strong favourites. The snow at Christmas, pigs will fly, or getting tails flipping a coin. So generally speaking, this is kind of known as your 50-50 because either it's going to be tails or heads, either or. Pigs will fly, again, alright, that's definitely impossible. That's the same people often use to give an example of something that's impossible of happening. Like they'll say, oh well, when I see that, pigs will fly. Certain, here, which one of these is certain? I would imagine it's to rain in Limerick. Okay, that's certainly going to happen in 2021. Throughout the whole year, it will definitely rain at some point. So we're left with these unlikely and likely. Now, Limerick to win in All-Ireland 2021. I suppose a lot of Limerick supporters would think it's certain, but it's not. It's likely. Again, that's debatable. And that's the thing with probability. It's not always an exact science. Okay, it's open to interpretation and bias for some events. Okay, so but here we'd say it's probably likely that it'll win it. Okay, a small bit of bias on my part. And to snow at Limerick at Christmas time, it's unlikely. Okay, so that's what your likelihood scale should look like. So now we look at the probability scale. So with a probability scale, you now have numerical values. Okay, it's not just categories anymore. You have numerical values ranging from 0 to 1. If you look at the cards below, okay, and this comes up quite a lot in probability, okay, so if you've never played cards before, get familiar with them. You have 13 suites of, 4 suites of clubs, spades, hearts and diamonds. 13 of each, ranging from your ace up as far as your king. Now, how we calculate then what is the probability of a certain outcome? Just say, for example, if I was to say the probability of a red card, okay, so let's come over here. So I've said the probability of, and this is how it's written, probability of red is equal to, okay, so how many reds are there? If you count them all at the bottom, you'll actually see there's 26 there. 13 hearts, 13 diamonds. That's 26. Okay, but how many cards are there in total? Well, there's 52. Therefore, the probability of red is 0.5, which is also known as 50-50. Okay, so the probability of red is 0.5. How about if I was to say, what is the probability of a heart, getting a heart? Okay, so probability of a heart. Well, how many hearts are there? Well, in total there are 13 hearts out of 52, which is equal to 0.25. Just put that into your calculator if you don't know how to do that, okay? The last thing, if I say what's the probability of getting a 13, okay, the number 13. Well, if you think about it, there's no 13s in the deck of cards, okay, so it's 0 out of 52, which is equal to 0. And that's it. So that's how you calculate your probability.